Okay. Hello, kids. I hope I am audible and visible to you all. I hope my voice is clear and I am visible nicely. Good evening. I can see a lot of you have joined in. So let's just wait for some of your friends to join in and then we can begin with the session. Just quickly drop in a message. Just let me know. Just drop in a thumbs up and let me know if I am visible to you all, if my audio is perfect, if there's anything else that you can't let's just wait for a few more minutes and then we will begin with the session. This week has been a roller coaster. We have seen a lot of news that have come into picture. We have seen that there are quite a lot of things that are in pipeline. So let's try to have discussion with regards to that. And understanding the same, we've seen that there are a lot of new schemes, there are a lot of new indexes, and we've seen India's ranking in these indexes. We've seen India now, that as I tell you that we are already in the month of March. We know that in the coming months there are going to be a lot of updates that are going to come into picture, and knowing the same things, we are seeing that there are a lot of initiatives, there are a lot of schemes, there are a lot of projects, there are a lot of awards that are coming into picture. Now, we have seen today, we saw in the newspaper that Sudha Murthy has taken an oath as MP for Rajya Sabha. So, how does this work? Can somebody in the comment section drop me a, can somebody who's live drop me a message in the comment section? Let me know, how does this thing work? How is it that suddenly somebody is taking an oath, and why? So, who gets that power and who gives you this opportunity to become a member for the Rajya Sabha? So, let me know in the comment section, and we'll wait for one more minute and then we'll begin with the session. So, drop in a message, let me know who can see, and I'm hoping that by now you have already subscribed to the channel, you have already liked my videos earlier, and you have already started sharing this thing with your friends. So see, the people who have subscribed to the channel, I'll be able to see their comments, I'll be able to see their messages. So I'm hoping that you have all subscribed. If you haven't, we still have time. Just quickly subscribe to the channel and we can, you will get an update about everything that is going around the channel, all the news, all the current affairs, all the legal current affairs from our law library. Apart from this, what are we seeing? We have a very new session, a very new playlist that has come into picture all about law school. So we have so many things. It's like a packed channel. And now to get information about this packed channel, it's important for you to subscribe. So quickly, subscribe. It's a very easy process, and I'm sure you can do it. Wonderful. Jania has dropped in a message that president nominates people from different fields. Perfect. Yes. Sudha Murthy has joined in, or Sudha Murthy has now become the member of Rajya Sabha via president's nomination. So under exemplary field or exemplary contribution in multiple fields, she is getting this thing. So now, without any further delay, let's begin with the session. I'm hoping my screen is visible to you all. Quickly drop in a thumbs up or drop in a message and let me know if my screen is visible. Let's just, I'm waiting for your messages. Let's see if my screen is visible to you all. Okay, perfect. I am getting messages. I have started receiving messages. Superb, guys. Wonderful. So now let's begin with the session. The first news that we will be discussing today. Okay, wonderful. Hi, Shraddha. Hi, Janya. Superb. Good to see you all. So the first news that we are seeing is Kirti program, or what is this Kelo India Rising Talent Identification Program. Okay, now this was the inauguration of this program. Now, what is this program? Okay, so what are we seeing? Union Ministers for Youth Affairs and Sports, that is Anurag Thakur, has recently inaugurated this thing. What is this? Basically, it's Khelo India Rising Talent Identification Program, and this was inaugurated in Chandigarh. Now, if you remember, with regards to Chandigarh, we had also discussed some other news, and that was with regards to what? Vande metro trains, है ना? Vande Bharat trains की जैसे, we have something called as Vande metro trains also, and this Kirti program is very important. Firstly, it is to identify and nurture the talent of kids or school children from the age group of 9 to 18. Okay, so from your ninth age, between 9 years to 18 years, you get this opportunity where this thing basically identifies your talents. Now, this scheme helps us under two main objectives. What are these two objectives? If you try to see, first is of course to hunt the talent from every nook and corner of the country. So we know for a fact that there are kids who are probably not so privileged and their talent is not showcased very nicely. So this scheme will help them, as well as this is to use the sports as a tool to curb addiction towards drugs and other gadgetry distractions. We know for a fact that over the last decade, India's addiction towards multiple things has increased. And of course, thanks to COVID, in the last 2-3 years, we have seen that a lot of us have been technologically we have just become addicted to technology. So knowing all of these things, we are seeing that this program or this scheme will help us a lot. Now, coming to the next thing, this, of course, the scheme or the program aims to conduct 20 lakh assessments across the country. Now, this is throughout this whole year, and this is to identify, of course, the talent assessment centers. Okay, now this will be done via the notified talent assessment centers only. And of course, Anurag Thakur has also emphasized in the early engagement of sports. Now, why are we doing this? Of course, because to make India top 10 nations across the country by the year 2036 and top 5 across the world by 2047. So we become the top sports countries, top 5 sports countries by 2047. Now, coming to the next part, of course, it utilizes transparent selection methods that is based on artificial intelligence and information technology. Now, so it becomes important for you to know these things. And this as an event or this as a program has a collaboration with the NSF, that is National Sports Federations, and the state governments. Okay, that is very, very essential to make this program a success. Of course, now for making these allocation centers, there has to be some money that would be required for the infrastructure, and we have allotted almost 3,000 crores for the allotment for the infrastructural development of this. Now, this will be with 1,000 plus Khelo India centers established across. So we know over the last few current affairs session, I have discussed something with regards to the Khelo India thing. Okay, now we are aspiring to participate or to contribute for the Youth Olympics by 2030 and Summer Olympics in 2036. Now, this is a longer vision. That is why this Kirti program may help us for the Youth Olympics. Okay, now this is anyway, we know 2024, by next 6 years, we will be in full-fledged understanding of talent acquisition in terms of sports, and that can further go for our Youth Olympics. Similarly, this Khelo India scheme is a flagship central sector scheme by the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, as I just told you some time back. The Kirti project is also a part of the this thing, Khelo India scheme. Okay, now coming to the next part or next news, another important news that we are going to discuss is the digital competition law. Now, to understand this thing, we are seeing that the Ministry of Corporate Affairs has constituted a 16-member committee for this thing, CDCL. Okay, that is Committee for Digital Competition Law. Now, this was on the recommendation of the 53rd report that was presented by the Parliament's Standing Committee on Finance. Okay, quickly drop in a message and let me know who is our finance minister. Very important, because we know for a fact that very recently the interim budget was introduced. Now, coming to the next part, it is based on the subject that is titled as anti-competitive practices by big tech companies. Okay, now this is to examine the need of separate law on competition in digital markets. Okay, so what is happening is big tech companies are taking over a lot of things and it is not creating a fair market, and that is why a separate law has come into picture. Now, the company or the committee has submitted its report along with the draft bill on the digital competitions law. Similarly, this bill actually aims to bring regulations for larger companies based on turnover, the gross merchandise value, global market capitalization, user base, and other relevant factors. I'm so happy to see that a lot of you have already dropped in a message that Srimati Nirmala Sitaraman is the finance minister. Very good job, Shraddha, Hitika, Rugved, and others. So, coming to the next part, what are we seeing? It proposes the designation of systematically significant digital enterprises, or also known as SSDs. So these are based on quantitative and qualitative criteria. Now, this ensures or ensuring the robust regulation of major players in the core digital services. Similarly, the bill also aims in, basically there are certain major takeaways that you must be aware of. So report says that in report is the recommendation of a new Digital Competition Act to enable the Competition Commission of India, that is CCI. Okay, Competition Commission of India is another important organization or another important body that you must be aware of, and that is to selectively regulate large digital entities on an ex ante basis. Okay, now apart from the recent standoff between the startups and Google, a parliamentary panel has also raised concerns over the foreign owned companies. Now we know there are a lot of foreign owned companies who have also come into picture with regards to the dominance of UPI payments. What are these companies? Of course, Walmart backed PhonePe and Alphabet owned Google Pay. So Google Pay and PhonePe are in picture. We already know the status of Paytm, and now this is dominating the UPI payments space. Now, when I'm trying to say we already know the status of Paytm, I'm not trying to show the negatives over here, but it is also important for you to know the fact about the Paytm bank and what all has happened. Okay. Now, coming to the next part or the next news that we are discussing today is INS Tushil. Now, what is INS Tushil? It is basically India's latest naval asset. Okay. Now, it is initiated in the sea trials from Russia's Baltics naval base, that was on March 5th, the 2024. Okay, now Tushil or INS Tushil falls under the Talwar class frigates category. Okay, of the stealth guided missile frigates. It becomes important for you to know the Talwar class frigates category, as well as a lot of information with regards to INS Tushil and all other INS naval assets. Now, the Talwar class guided missile frigates are the improved versions of the Russian Coast Guard's Krivak 3 or the class frigates. Okay, currently the Indian Navy operates 6 such ships. Okay, while 4 more are under the constructions and includes 2 in India's Goa shipyard. Okay, so out of the 4, there are 2 that are going to be developed in the Goa shipyard itself. And where are the other 2 going to be developed? It's your homework. You'll let me know in the comment section now. Apart from this, it becomes important for you to know that we already have 6 such ships. Knowing the same thing, these ships have something called as stealth technology in terms of low radar and underwater noise signatures. Okay, now these helps us in the further processes or in the further developments that happen with regards to waterways. Now coming to the next part, these ships are being equipped with major Indian supplied equipments such as surface to surface missiles, sonar systems, surface surveillance radar, communication suits, and anti-submarine warfare system, along with the Russian surface-to-air missiles and gun mounts. Okay, so this is why this INS Tushil becomes important. Not only this asset, but all the other naval assets that have come into picture very recently. Coming to the next part, what are we seeing? A very important rule, a very important discussion that is going around the country. What is this thing? Now, this is with regards to the Citizenship Amendment Act. Now, you are all aware that this had come into picture already in 2019, and this came into force on January 10th, 2020. But the act only came into picture, but it was not implemented because rules were not in place. Now that rules are notified, we are seeing that the citizenship amendment rules have come into picture. People who are eligible as per the CAA of 2019, that is Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019, can now apply for Indian citizenship, marking a pivotal step in providing refuge to the persecuted. Now, who can apply as per these rules of 2000, as per the rules as well as per the Act of 2019? Basically, individuals who migrated to India before 31st of December 2014 from Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh due to religious persecutions. Okay, and they belong to the 6 religious minorities. What are these minorities? Hindu, Sikh, Buddhist, Jain, Parsi, and Christians are eligible to get citizenship under the Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019. Similarly, it is also important to know that currently Indian citizenship is granted to the ones who are born in India or who have lived in India for at least 11 years. So 11 to 14 is something that we must be aware of. The proposed amendment also includes a provision of cancellation of the OCIs, or the overseas citizens of India. Now, registrations if the OCI cardholder violates any provisions of the Citizenship Act or any other applicable law. Okay, so now this will help you understand who are citizens of India and who can get citizenship. Similarly, the amendment also introduced by the CAA does not apply to areas covered by the Constitution's sixth schedule. Okay, so it becomes important for you to know what is this sixth schedule. Okay, now coming to the last part of this news, that is the provision of this Act of 1955 barred illegal migrants in India. So it becomes, so this may help us in the future run. That is why this Act and the rules have come into picture. So it becomes important for you to go in depth and study about these things. Now, coming to the next part, what are we seeing? A very important news that has come into picture, that is Namo Drone Didi and Lakpa Didi. Now, we know this Lakpa Didi as a scheme was introduced during our last year's Republic Day, that is 2023. Basically, this was the participation in the Shashwat Nari Viksit Bharat program at the Indian Agricultural Research Institute of Pusa, New Delhi. Okay, now Namo Drone and Lakpati Didi initiatives is to empower women economically and especially in the rural areas. Lakpati Didis who have succeeded in Lakpati Didis who have succeeded with the support of the Deen Dayal Anantyodaya Yojana. Now, this basically Yojana is with regards to National Rural Livelihoods Missions, and they will be felicitated during this time. Similarly, these women are also supporting the motivating. Sorry, these women are also supporting and motivating the other self-help groups or SHGs members for their upliftment. Now that we know about the basis of both the schemes, let's try to understand firstly what is this Namo Drone Didis initiative. Basically, this initiative is with regards to rural women who are trained to become drone pilots for the agricultural purposes. Okay, and this initiative or this purpose will help in what kind of understanding? Basically, 15,000 women will be trained for this thing, and this will help them in crop monitoring, spraying fertilizer, sowing seeds, and a lot of things. This will not only give them economic help, but also give them a boost in knowing things that that can be done by women at the rural front. Now, knowing the same thing, let's come to understanding about the next initiative or next scheme, that is Lakpati Didi initiative. The primary goal of this initiative is, of course, to encourage women to establish micro enterprises and become economically self-sufficient. The goal for both the initiatives has been similar. Now, this is to focus on training women in various skills, enabling them to earn sustainable income for at least 1 lakh rupees per annum per household. Now, this that is SHGs or self-help groups are provided training in this diverse skills such as plumbing, LED bulb making, drone operation, repairing and tailoring and weaving. All of the soft skills as well as other basic requirement things are given as training mechanisms, or are given women are given training for these things. Now, understanding the same thing, the government plans to train 2 crore or 20 million women under this initiative. Okay, of course, these women should be members or will be members of the self help groups in their respective communities. Now, the initiative is, of course, to implement, or it is implemented by the DAYNRLM, Deen Dayal Anantyodaya Yojana of the National Rural Livelihoods Mission, which is a flagship poverty allocation program which is led by Ministry of Rural Development, Government of India. So it becomes important for you to know these things. Coming to the next part, or the last news or the last current affairs, the important update for this week. Now, what is this thing? The news that we are discussing is the happiest country in the world. Okay, this is like an index that keeps coming. The last year also it had come, and this year again. Basically the World Happiness Report, which is produced by the United Nations or UN, assesses global happiness levels using the data primarily gathered by the Gallup World Poll. Okay, and again in 2024, Finland retains its title as world's happiest country with a score of 7.804. Okay, so Finland has been constant in getting this title. Of course, India's rank is 126th out of 146 countries in the World Happiness Report, with a score which is almost half of what Finland has received, that is 4.036. Okay, now coming to the next part, surpassing India in the happiness, we are seeing that our neighboring countries are there, which is Nepal, Bangladesh, and China. So it becomes important for you to read about indexes, about initiatives, and all the other important legal as well as regular current affairs. Okay, so coming to the last part, again, I request you all to not only like the channel but also subscribe and drop in a message about what do you want to see next in our upcoming videos. And don't worry, we'll look into it and we will make sure that we deliver the same to you all. I'll see you all in the next video. Till then, bye bye, take care, and all the best.